Right then, people, I'm here. I'm at the mark. I'm in Beaumaris, or depending on where you're from, you can call it Beaumaris. I'm here now. I'm only going to say this once because I keep saying it a lot, but it is so cold. This is the place I've fished more than any other mark. You know, you can probably add all the other spots I've fished in my life up together, and I'll probably fished here more. This is sort of my little beach where I fish. Caught absolutely everything from here. But there's one fish I haven't caught from here, and that's the cod. And I know a few people have said there's cod coming out from around this area, and they're a reliable source. They're the same source that told me yesterday that cod was coming out from the Conway estuary, and I went there, and that is the first ever fish I've caught from the Conway estuary, and I've fished it a few times over the years. So I've come here now on the off chance that I could fluke one from here as well the day after, but that would just be a dream come true, wouldn't it? Realistically, I doubt that's going to happen, but there's a chance. I'm here for whatever's going to pick the bait up. I've got some worms from bluefin, I've got some squid from bluefin, and I've got a bit of frozen crab from bluefin. Bluefin, tackle shop, Triada Bay. And I'm going to go down and give it a go. If I can sneak a huss, a conger, maybe even a couple of doggies or some pecks. I'm not even that bothered. I just want to go and get a bend in the rod. I'm going to sit in the car for the next 20 minutes because the tide turns in about 20 to 30 minutes. And I know from previous fishing trips on this mark that it starts fishing better as soon as the tide starts flooding in. So I'm not going to rush. I'm going to get there because it's so cold. I'm going to just fish the area of the flood and try and get some fish. So I'll see you when we get somewhere down in the dark down there. See you in a bit. Well, I'm here now. I'm on the mark. So it's so eerie out here in winter. I've said it in the last video when I was at Penmon Point. Like, you just don't see nobody on Anglesey in the winter. I left my caravan about 20 minutes ago. Drove through the back lanes down to the spa. Didn't see a single car. Parked up in Beaumaris. Didn't see anybody, no humans or nothing. Went into the spa. There was one man behind the counter. That's the only human I've seen. I drove all the way back along these lanes. Like, you can look now, you can see all the lanes, all the roads. There's just nobody. It's like, I said it in the last video, well, not the last one, the one before last at Penmon. In winter, Anglesey just goes desolate. There's like nobody here. If this was summer now, there'd probably be 30 people on this beach. The town down there would be thriving, a proper little tourist attraction, but there's just nothing. And there's nobody on this beach either, which is not good. It would have been nice to ask somebody there in case I get something on or something happens, but I'm down here on my own, and it is what it is. I'm going to try and get a fish. The tide is just about to turn. But I've said that, and I've said everything else, so I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to get the rod set up, and... oh, did I tell you? It's cold. I've just put the rods on the rest. I've not got them set up yet, but I don't think the camera's going to pick up what's up in the sky now. But we have the most clearest night ever, and there are just like big stars everywhere. The middle of nowhere, on your own. Absolutely freezing bloody cold. Hoping for one of them rods to go over, but they won't go over yet because there's no rigs on them. They will go over. Am I babbling on too much? Probably. Do I babble on too much? Definitely. Does it matter? No. Right, let's get the rod set up. See you in a bit. It's time to get the rods in. On the left rod, we have one of my pulley pedals. Probably about 2 foot long. Running on a 6-ounce gripper. Now, a 6-ounce gripper is pretty good on this mark, unless it's a massive tide, then you might want to up it. Onto a double hook pennel, and in there you have squid, crab, and black lug. That is just a big ball of goodness. You all know what I'm targeting, people. I don't have to say it. But if anything else picks it up, it will be welcome. On the other rod, we're fishing a 2-hook flapper with smaller baits, because of what happened yesterday on the Conway River. The 2-hook flapper baits seem to do the job. We've just got like a little ball of goodness on these with a hook point really proud, and I like the hook point really proud like that, because as soon as a fish grabs it, it smashes it. And they're not the biggest of hooks, but smaller hooks mean they've got a sharper point, so sometimes them smaller hooks can do a lot more damage than the bigger hook. They might not hold the fish as well, you might get a few more hook pulls, but if you do get a bite on one of them little sharp hooks like that, the fish will hook itself. And that has got squid, crab and worm in. Exactly the same as this one, and if you've seen, I've put the hook like that again. See how the hook kicks away from the bait, and it's like really like prominent at the top, and look at them little sharp hooks, look, they pierce your skin, look. They are super, super sharp. And with that goodness coming out, as soon as something only has to come and have a quick grab like that, and you've got it because the hook is that sharp. Especially if you keep your line tight, it acts as like a bolt rig. So when the fish hits it, it's like, got ya. And that's been working. So what I'm going to do is get this rod on the right out over sort of that way. Get the rod on the left out sort of that way. I'm going to put this phone on the tripod and see if we can get one of them bites. But yeah, all 3 baits have got squid, crab and worming. Of course we're after a cod, a MENAI cod. But we'll take a bull huss, we'll take a conger, we'll take a bass, we'll take a white and we'll take a doggy. Who knows what's going to come along. Let's get them rods in. Well, the rods have just gone in. As you can see, the right one is still bouncing around. It's just finding bottom. It's a big flow out there tonight. It's not a massive tide, but I've hit the channel. I've sent them out about... Well, I've just settled now. I've probably sent them out about 100 yards, 80 to 100 yards. And from here, you're definitely at the channel. There's a big hole there that goes about 80 foot deep. I know that from being on the Happy Hooker boat, because this is where we launch from and where we come in. And on the Navionics, when we go through there, you only need to go about 30, 40 yards out. You've got a big, massive hole. And that's what I fancied that the cod would be in. Not saying I'm after cod, by the way. Because if somebody gave me a little strap conger or a horse or a doggy now, I'd be happy, because I'm not here just to, you know, chase the prize fish. I'm happy to get a bend in the rod. I really, really am. But I know what's in this area, and I know where the deep hole is, and I know I've got good baits out there. And you just never know. I don't think the camera can pick up what is going on above there. There are so many stars. It is absolutely like... It's like we're on a different planet. Like, it's so silent. You know, if I be quiet now, this microphone will pick anything up. Just listen to that. You hear the birds then, they're lapwings, I think, in the MENAI. It's just absolutely silent. Anyway, them rods are in now. They've both settled. All 3 baits are the same, just on different rigs. And when I had that cod yesterday from the River Conway, from the Conway estuary, there was 8 rods out that night. So, you know, it's not like you can go down there and catch one. There was 8 rods out for about 6 hours. And I was the only one that had one. And out the 8 rods, one of my rods had a big cocktail kebab bait on. The other 6 rods all had big baits, big pulley pennels, big cocktail baits. And I've done something a little bit different. I put a little 2-hook flapper on, and I just feeded a black lugworm on, tipped it with a little bit of rag, and flicked it not so far out. So bear in mind, you're fishing the Conway estuary now. You've got 7 big kebab baits all out in the main flow, in the deep. None of them went. My little one in the side, with a bit of worm and a bit of rag on a little hook. It's only like it was tiny. I don't know what it was. It was just a little Flarden hook or Fladen, whatever you call it. It was on one of them, and that's the one that went over. Coincidence or not? Who knows? But yeah, there was 7 big baits out there all night, and the one that the cod chose to take was my little one on a little 2-hook scratcher. Oh, come on! Let's feel ya. Give me a little... Oh, I don't think it's on. No, I had a good feel of that as well, that one on. No. It was a good bite that was as well. Nobody likes to see that happen. Ah. It's not good, that. The bite's pretty much intact, so it wasn't crabs. I was like that. Dink, 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 dink. When I picked the rod up, I felt a couple of pulls, so then I hit it. Didn't eager beaver it, didn't strike off the rest. You know, I'm learning from you lot people. But, yeah, damn. That was probably 4 or 5 minutes into the first cast. We'll have a bit of that, won't we? Right, I'm going to wrap a bit more bait on there, and I'm going to get it straight back out. It's going to be a fish here tonight, I know it. Right, let's get this rod straight back out then. I'm only going to fish for an hour or so because I'm absolutely frozen through. Just wrapped a bit more squid and lug onto it. There's a bit of crab still in there. No messing about tonight, you get it straight back out. The tide has definitely turned because The rod is pulling to the left when I cast in. When the tide is ebbing and going out, it pulls to the right. I know that because this is a mark that I've fished, as I said earlier in the video. I've fished this mark hundreds of times, if not more, probably 200 or 300 times. It's my local. As I say, I've caught everything from here. As many smooth hounds as you can count on 10 hands. Bullocks, double figure bullocks, one after another for the summer. Mackerel in the thousands. Doggies in the millions. Congers. Never had a big conger from here. I've had loads of straps about £4 or £5. You can throw everything up when you hit that channel, when you go that way. But it is a nightmare when you have a good fish on, because you've got loads of rocks out there and a lot of kelp and stuff like that. You can lose a lot of fish to snags. That's why you've got to fish really heavy and then keep the fish off. Anyway, we're back out now. Bite on the right rod, on cue. Here we go. Did you see that? There's a bite, definite bite on the right rod. I hope they're not pecker bites. Wouldn't it be nice now? Break the silence with a big bite and a load of commotion there, wouldn't it? Oh, that's a drop back, that's a bite. Here we go, look, here we go. See it? Did you see it? It's going to go off, isn't it? Bite on the left rod now. Here we go. That's got that big cocktail bait on. It's a bite on the left one, but they look like pecker bites, to be honest. If you want the absolute truth, they look a bit like pecker bites. Both rods have been going ding, ding, ding. Not crabs. They're definitely not crabs. They're a little bit too much for crabs. Crabs give you the little ting, ting. These like more ding, 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 like pecker bites. And the way I'm fishing, you've seen the baits. There's no way I'm going to catch a pecker on one of them. Unless it's a big pecker, I ain't going to catch a pecker on one of them. But I'll keep the baits big to avoid them and keep putting them out. And if I do, luckily enough, get a little pecker on one way or another, I'll put it on as a live bait. Because there's a lot of people saying lately, along the country, never mind just the North Wales coast or Anglesey, there's a lot of people saying they've had peckers on. And well, for anybody who don't know, peckers are whiting, that's just what we call them, peckers. They've been bringing the whiting in, and all of a sudden, whack, whack, they've been being smashed. Right, I've just pulled the right rod in, quite a lot of weed on it, which I'm thinking, could that weed have been giving me them little tappy bites? So we've had a lot of like bad weather lately and a lot of fresh. The baits, truthfully, there's one bait. This is a 2-hook flapper one. And there is the other. Yes, I've been pecked a bit by crabs or little peckers or something, but in the grand scheme of things, they're still there for a bite then. So it's making me think now, is it crabs? Is it weed it in the line? I'm going to add a bit of bait to these and get them straight back out, but there's nothing that said it's been a definite fish yet. There has been some good pulls, but could it have been weed on the line? Could it have been a crab? I'll tell you what they do say though, the MENAI doesn't fish when there's been loads of fresh, and we have had hailstorms all day long. I've been out in it. It has not stopped. I don't know if that will make a difference. Personally, I don't know if it does make a difference or not. I've not been sea fishing that long, 3-4 years, something like that. And there's a lot of people who've been fishing for 15, 20 years around here who say the MENAI doesn't fish good when it's been raining or when there's fresh going in or whatever. And I respect that because experience and local knowledge is more than anything. I'm kind of new to it. Maybe I was a bit silly coming down after all that on my own in the freeze with all that fresh going in. But I do like to be a bit different, as you've probably seen in all my videos. But I'm sure a lot of the more experienced people on the island would not be fishing the MENAI tonight. But I fancy it, and I fancy a fish. But yeah, I'm going to add some more bait to this, and I'm going to get it back out, and we will go again. That is all we could do. I haven't blanked in my last 7 or 8 videos, 2 or 3 months. I've not done it, and I managed it in the last video with that cod. I managed it the one before with a dog, the one before with a nice wrast, and the one before with a few smooth hounds, the conger. I keep managing to always pull it out the bag right at the end. And I know I say this in every single video, but is this the time that the blank's going to happen? And if it is, you'll see it. Could this be it? Because I'm not fishing with little hooks and little baits. You've seen the the decent sized. If I put a little hook out with a worm on, I could probably catch a pecker or something. But no, I'm hanging out tonight for you people. It's going to be something of that size or a blank. So for that alone, you should definitely hit that subscribe button and follow me on my next adventures. Right, let's get this rebaited and we'll go again soon, but it's not looking good. I was going to stay for an hour. I've probably been here for 45 minutes to an hour now, and I'm going to stay for a bit longer because truthfully, I don't want a blank. So the rod is ready to go back out. I've just spruced it up a bit with more crab, more squid, and more worm. Same with that one. I'll put a bit more black lug in that. Look at the crab coming out of that. The squid and the black lug. It's obvious what we're targeting, isn't it? It is. But anything will do. Anything will do. And even though I'm casting sort of that way, the line lay is that way. And that's something, when people fish marks, I always try and let people know a little bit about the mark. I'm not like the others. Everybody's secretive and don't say nothing. This is probably my home spot, my mark, where I come all the time. I always put videos out here. You need to, if you fish it on a big tide, you need some big, massive leads. You don't want to fish it after a storm or when there's weed coming through because you get wiped out. You definitely don't want to drive down this beach because you might get stuck. And you definitely need to gear up. That looked like a bite on the right rod then. You definitely need to gear up because there's a lot of snags out there, there's a lot of kelp, there's a lot of rock beds. And whatever them rocks are, what the weed grows out of, you see them everywhere and you hook them and pull them in. There's loads of them out there. And we are fishing on a massive mussel bed as well. So you can get cut off. So you really need to fish heavy here. That was the pulley pennel rig on the left. And there's a crab on it. And it's not my crab. It's somebody else's. No, it's a wild one. It's not a peeler or a softie, is it? Let's have a little look. No. Straight up hard back, so we'll toss that one back. A lot of fish do it, the hardbacks. I was down Penmon the other day and I was with a gentleman who caught a bass and gutted it there and then, and he pulled a couple of hardbacks out, big hardbacks as well. I was like sort of that big, and at the time you could tap the shell. That'd probably been in the belly a bit, but the shell was still solid like that. So them bass are eating big hardbacks. I know everybody probably knows that anyway, but it doesn't have to be a peeler or a softie. They'll smash anything, won't they? Same with the cod. I need to get a bit more bait on here. So it has been a bit smashed. A bit. It's been annihilated. We'll get it back out. But now we know the crabs are out there. We know what we're up against. We're up against a long night casting every 10 or 15 minutes. That's what we're up against. Something will happen. Something will happen. Here we go again. Pulley pennel, just added a load more crab, squid and worm to that bait. Look at the goodness in that. Razor sharp hook. Look at that. Pricks you every time. Oof. Oof. You only have to scrape past it, look. Oof, he's got you. Oof. We can't do no more than a big ball of goodness with a super sharp hook in the channel, can we? I'm not going to be here for that much longer now, people. I've fished for a couple of hours, probably an hour longer than I wanted to be fair. And I know I said I wouldn't go on about the cold, but it is freezing. And I'm getting a bit hungry now as well. So we're going to send this one in. Probably going to give it another 10 or 15 minutes. And then I'm probably going to have to admit my first blank in about 2 or 3 months. Oh no! But it happens, and sometimes it's best to get it out of the way, isn't it? Right, that tide is turning a bit. So I'm going to put that rod on that side, and this big bait is going to be the wild card going that way. Don't know why, I just want to send this bait that way. I've got a feeling there's something big over there with my name on it. Well, that rod probably went out about 30 yards instead of about 100 yards because it got wrapped around the nightlight. And that was lucky actually, because that could have actually snapped the tip off the rod then. That right rod is nowhere near the channel. The line got wrapped underneath the clip-on nightlight and it went and dropped. It's probably about 25 to 30 yards. But I'm a believer in what's meant to happen will happen. So maybe that was meant to be there. So we'll just see. But I'm definitely not here for too long now. Well, I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to admit, the blank here, I've definitely fished a lot longer than I wanted to. The plan was, get down here, wait for the tide to switch and nick a couple of fish in the first hour of the flood. I've ended up being down here for 2 hours. I had nothing apart from a couple of taps that could have been crabs. But that's how it is. And I have a very, very good video planned for tomorrow. And there will definitely be fishing it as well. It could be a YouTube first. I don't think anybody's done this before. And I'm certain I'm going to pull it off. I'm certain. So you have to subscribe and be the first to see that. But I say tomorrow, what day are we on now? We're on Wednesday. You're going to see this video Friday. Then I'm going to film tomorrow's video on Thursday. You might see it Sunday. So you obviously are running 3 or 4 days behind due to the editing process and all that. But yeah, there's something really good planned and you will like it. But yeah, I'm going to get them rods in. Unless there's any fish, you won't see me again. And if I'm truthful, I don't think there's going to be. I really don't think so. Maybe it was the fresh water. Maybe it's because it's winter. Maybe it's because I'm crap. Who knows? It's just one of them, innit? But yeah, if you like this type of stuff, people, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you all in the next video sometime. Bye.